So, you found the perfect pair of flip-flops and you're one flight away from freedom. You bought a one-way ticket to Thailand and you're betting it'll be a better idea than that boring bedroom community you've been living in. You're sick of the 9 to 5, the nagging girlfriend, and that $40 branzino that bitch insists on ordering every Sunday for brunch in Bottega Louie. You didn't tell her, but you've renewed your passport, put in your 2 weeks notice, and made escape plans to Pattaya. In Southeast Asia, you'll hack life, live for less, and trade in that mess you almost married for a model with much lower mileage. They do have that new car smell. Sure, it sounds romantic until you wake up 6 months later in a rented room above a restaurant, wondering where your wallet went or what happened to your Thai girlfriend Pim, her panties, or her purse. Here's what you forgot to consider. That $5,000 you've got in a Fidelity account won't take you all that far.
See, here's the thing. Freedom isn't a feeling, it's a number, and it's called your FU money number. It's the amount of money you'll need to tell the world, no, thanks, and still wake up tomorrow with Wi-Fi service.
So today, we're going to calculate your FU money number. It's simple enough that you won't need a certified financial planner. Any degenerate that went to business school like me will do just fine. I call this the FU money calculator. You plug in 6 numbers: your current age, your planned retirement age, the age you expect to die, I know, cheerful stuff, your first year retirement expenses, the annual growth rate of your investments, default is 8%, and the inflation or expense growth, set to 3%. The FU money calculator can basically be broken down into 2 pieces: living and dying, earning and spending. And we'll look at them both through the lens of the time value of money. Let your money start working for you early, like in your 20s, and you'll see exponential growth. On the flip side, the more retirement time you require, the more FU money you're going to need to finance it. If you want time value on your side, start saving early, retire later, and die as soon as you can. It's as simple as that. First component is what's called a compound interest calculator. Einstein called compounding the 8th wonder of the world, and Warren Buffett hasn't stopped pounding on the idea ever since he's become a public figure. To make it simple, you invest money that earns interest. That interest is also now your money that's also earning interest. Your money keeps making little interest-earning children until you have a whole weird Mormon army working for you while you sleep. The second piece of the FU money calculator is what's called a deferred annuity. At a certain point in time, your retirement, you'll have a certain amount of money in your fund that's still growing, but you're drawing down on it every year for your expenses. And we also have to consider inflation. Let's assume it's 3%. Nothing gets cheaper or easier. We've got another more serious fact to figure into this equation. How many years do you have to pay your bills before you're pushing up daisies? When are you going to die so you don't have to worry about dental care or that past due insurance premium? You can use an actuary table for this. My estimated time of departure is 84. You want to live longer than that? Figure out how to finance it. Is some prostitute from Pattaya going to pay your rent and change your Pampers? Keep in mind, they don't give out loans for end of life. There's not a high probability you'll pay down the principal. So think about these 3 points in time: when you start saving, when you stop working, and when you're dearly departed. Consider that you're not getting any younger. Time is working against you, and tomorrow is too late.
Having FU money doesn't mean you have to be the modern-day version of Scrooge McDuck. You just have to have the finances to keep you from going broke until you kick the bucket. The gold coins are kind of cool, though.
Now let's meet my friends Tom, Dick, and Harry. 3 dudes who all have a different relationship with the time value of money. Meet Tom. He's a 35-year-old freelance consultant, whatever that is. He has no IRA or investments, just $3,500 $100 in a savings account, money that's not earning much interest and likely to be wiped out after Tom's next drug and alcohol bender in Las Vegas. But Tom wants to retire early at 45. He figures he can cut cost of living down to 25 grand a year by moving to the Philippines. That sounds nice, right? Except Tom doesn't understand time, because to live from 45 to 85, that's 40 years of retirement to finance. Spending 25 grand a year, he'll need roughly $425,000 by the time he's 45. That's his FU number. And right now he's got $3,500, a pipe dream, and a cocaine habit. Tom needs to get serious. He needs to move that money into a Roth IRA and a mutual fund index. Max it out at $7,000 a year, the limit for people under 50, I believe. And stop acting like the math doesn't apply to him. He'll also want a traditional IRA. Well, he'll have to contribute another $21,000 a year to hit his goal. He's not just short, he's off by a factor of 100. If Tom wants out, he's going to have to build discipline faster than he makes excuses. One way to sort out Tom's finances would be to have him give up that passion for perico, which he buys twice a week, 2 grams for $200, $800 a month total. Instead, you could spend the $800 a month on the SPY and BND ETFs in your Roth IRA and spin your life in another direction. If your head could stop spinning from all the alphabet soup. We could work on the other side of Tom's equation and chop off the length of his lifespan. If at 45 years old, Tom starts spending his retirement budget blowing bad drugs up his nose in Bangkok, we could 86 Tom by the time he's 75. As his money managers, our job gets a whole hell of a lot easier when he's in a ditch a decade earlier and we don't have to worry about keeping his lights on. If we aren't being facetious, we could focus on the fact that Tom has time on his side and should consider keeping his consulting gig for at least 5 more years, or find a way to do his work remotely, sending invoices to clients from Siem Reap until he's 56.
Next up is Dick. He's a 45-year-old construction contractor with
45 grand in a Roth IRA, growing consistently at 8% a year. Dick's been playing the long game. He contributes $8,000 a year and wants to retire at 60 so he can move to Thailand, chill on the beach with his 16-year-old second wife sucking his while he sips on Chang beers. If he stays the course for 15 years, Dick will end up with about 360 grand in his account. That gives him a first-year budget of around $26,000. That's not bad, Dick, but it's not baller. It's more like cheap slut in Chiang Mai than pretty girl in Pattaya money. He'll have to hustle, but a guy like that with a good business, if he stops hanging out with the other shitheads on a Saturday night and trades in his new Tesla for a used Toyota, he might just hit the goal of having 5 girls in his hot tub sliding on his screwdriver at 65. Dick's gonna have to dig some ditches for a while though. Finally, there's Harry. He's 60 years old. He's got 60 grand in a 401k. It's growing at a solid 10% per year because Harry spends his time managing his own money on Thinkorswim. He plans to throw in another 20 grand a year until he's 70, and it's a solid bet that he'll stick to it. Time and experience have taught Harry that nobody gives a shit if he drives an S-Class. He's canceled his subscription to conspicuous consumption, and he's just kicked that C word he used to call a wife to the curb after the kids graduated. Harry's focused on his future, and his calculator might get him there. At 70, Harry's looking at roughly $475,000 in that account. He's only got about 15 years of retirement to cover, so he can afford to live a little. He can spend around $46,500 in his first year and adjust for inflation after that. In other words, Harry finally has the FU leverage. He's got time, growth, and clarity. He didn't chase crypto. He didn't YOLO trade options. He just stayed consistent and let compounding do what it does. So what do Tom, Dick, and Harry have to teach us? First, they all have a good idea. Moving to Southeast Asia makes your FU money number much easier to attain. On the California coast, you need $1 million or more for any kind of meaningful life. In Cambodia or Thailand, you can get by comfortably and cut that cost by more than half. Same freedom, lower price tag. So number one, geography is leverage. Second, even though Tom isn't telling himself the truth, he does have time on his side. Harry, on the other hand, has his plan together, but still has to stay hard at work before hanging up his corporate key card. The number of years your money has to grow and the number of years you'll have to live off of it determine your fate more than any stock pick or get-rich-quick scheme. The guy who starts early and finishes later wins, always. Third, Dick and Harry have their money doing the dirty work, doubling itself every 7 to 10 years. Tom's is sitting idle in his savings account, sucking the tailpipe of inflation. Tom's problem is analysis paralysis. He's not working for a big corporation that's acting as the caretaker of his retirement with profit sharing or a pension plan. Fear and a lack of financial knowledge have him effectively hiding money in his mattress instead of investing it for interest. In the gig economy, with freelance incomes and unstable careers, most men, particularly millennials, don't put their money where it matters. Most are worse off than Tom. They've got a Robinhood account and a Coinbase wallet, the Wild West of wealth building. Investing to them is like a slot machine on a smartphone. Put your money into a Roth IRA. Keep it simple with ticker symbols like SPY for the S&P 500 index or BND for a basket of bonds. Make a home for your money to grow tax-free and keep contributing to it on a continued basis. And cutting your retirement costs by moving to a different country will make a considerable difference, but you still need to learn to count. I'd wish you guys luck, but you wouldn't know what to do with it if you got it.
Calculator is in the link down below.